This is Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out, and today I'm with two-time former British champion, European champion, and world title challenger Rhodes. How's it going, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, really well, thank you.
Bubble life at the moment. I know you've just got to the bubble in Manchester. How's it treating you?
Yeah, well, it's the first one I've done. Really grateful that Steffi Bull asked me to help him out this weekend. He had three fighters on, and obviously gutted that Terry Harper had to pull out with her hand injury last week. So we've got Jason Cunningham fighting year 5 for the European title fight, and then we've got Lee Appleyard in a great fight against Dalton Smith, so for the English title. So looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to it. I've watched it all on everybody's social medias, these bubbles. Well, I'm in it for the first time.
How are you going to fill the time?
Listen, I love playing pool. I love playing table tennis. So I'll fill my time. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
And talking of fighting, of course, last weekend, huge fight between Canelo and Joe Saunders. Canelo, one of your former opponents, and Joe Saunders, you actually picked to win. What's your thoughts on that now the fight's taken place, and just as a whole, what do you think of it?
So I thought Joe did very, very well. I thought it was absolutely 1,000,000% the right decision to pull him out in that round. You could see, even from watching it on TV, that there was bad damage to his eye. And obviously the corner team, will have seen it, so close that there was damage to that eye. They did the right thing, definitely. There's no one to beat Canelo. I've decided there's no one out there from middleweight to super middleweight to light heavyweight. There's no one out there to beat him. I honestly believe that he could even go up to cruiserweight and win a world title. Wow. I really do. I really think he's that heavy-handed, that strong, that ring savvy. He's got it all. He has really got the full package.
And just quickly back on the eye injury, it seems to be, from what I've seen, a huge contrast in opinions from people on this side from the UK and then people over in America. Do you think the Daniel Dubois injury specifically, but also just the opinion of a lot of people in the UK is becoming, boxing needs to be health before anything else? Because as I said, the people over in America seem to think that Joe Saunders quit.
No, he didn't quit at all. Listen, when he went back to that corner, when he got hit with that, was it left? Was it right, a right uppercut?
Yeah,
uppercut. As soon as Joe lifted his head, there wasn't really a mark on his face before that. As soon as he lifted his head from out of that shot, and it was a great shot, and for Joe to take that shot and and not go down or anything like that, you knew there was an issue straight away. It had that swelling, but it wasn't just like a swelling of the eye. It looked wrong. It didn't look right. It looked like it was slightly disfigured. And, Canelo got so confident after that. He would have seen the issues. He would have seen the damage he did straight away. He started showboating to the crowd, lifting his arms up to the crowd. There's no way Joe Saunders quitting that fight. His corner team will have seen the damage. He had so much experience in that corner. Mark Tibbs, Ben Davis, he got Jamie Sheldon, who's seen fighters with bad injuries, for many, many times. He definitely got pulled out of that fight by the corner, and it was 1,000,000%. He didn't quit. It was the right decision. Health is wealth, and I really truly believe that.
Do you think the opinions of the mindsets of coaches, trainers are changing, or do you think the same decision would have been made in the same fight 15, 20 years ago?
Maybe different 15, 20 years ago. It might have been slightly different, but you didn't even need to have the experience what Billy had in that corner, because you could just see. I could see there was an issue straight away. on TV, watching it on TV, you know, the corner team is less than a foot away from Billy Joe Saunders. Mark Tibbs, I watched an interview what Mark Tibbs did the following morning, and you know, he said that he spoke to Billy, asked him a couple of questions. He didn't get the answers he wanted, which gave him no option and to pull Billy Joe from that fight. You know, listen, going out there fighting Canelo with two eyes is hard enough than to go out in and fight pound for pound one of the best fighters on the planet today with only one eye. So listen, it might have been a little bit different 20, 25 years ago, but we're talking about today. We're in today's market, and they definitely did the right decision in pulling him out.
And he's made life-changing money from that fight. I believe it was around 8 million. Where does he go from here? Does he need to continue? Do you think he will?
I really do believe that if the operation goes well, the doctors are happy with what the operation, what the procedure, what they give Billy Joe Saunders, I believe Billy Joe Saunders will come back and fight again. It wasn't where Canelo just walked through. Listen, round 6 and round 7 was Billy Joe Saunders'
up until the eye injury. Some people could argue it was even. I thought it was.
It was very, very. I mean, I got up to watch it. I set my alarm to watch it at 3:45, and I got up live to watch it. And I must admit, I watched it again in the afternoon, on Sunday afternoon, and I thought Billy Joe did very well when I got up early, when I got up to watch it live. But then when I watched it the second time, I thought Canelo did better than what I thought as well.
Do you think Canelo was more effective and perhaps Billy Joe Saunders was active but not so effective?
Yeah, it just looked like everything was an effort with Billy Joe. Everything was like forced. Everything was like, it was just such a big effort. Whereas Canelo, he was just cruising. He was just cruising. He never overexerted. He never pushed himself. He just did everything what he wanted to do. He took them body shots with ease. Everything was power shots. Then body shots, you know, Billy took some big body shots. But it was Billy what was overexerting himself. It was Billy what was, you know, really forcing the fight, whereas Canelo just seemed to be taking his time. And I just felt like when the second time I watched it, it was better on Canelo's side than it was Billy Joe's. But he still did well. And you know what? He should come back at middleweight. He will be a force to be reckoned with at middleweight. I feel that's his best weight. He looked in fantastic shape up at super middleweight, but I think there's room for him to come back down to middleweight and be a dominant force back at middleweight. I think that's his best weight category.
And who do you think he could fight? Who are the big fights for him down at middleweight? Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr., Golovkin.
Yeah.
Do you think he should take those fights soon, or do you think, you know, take a couple of warm-up fights before that?
No, listen, if the eye is 100%, the surgeon, the doctors are 100% confident in the procedure, what's happened with his eye, he should be straight back in with them guys. Straight back in. Don't hang around with having a warm-up fight, a 10-rounder. You know, Demetrius Andrade, the Charlo brothers, like you've just said, Triple G and Eubanks. There's some massive fights out there, you know, and he deserves to be at that level still with 1,000,000%.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the person who's always comparing to the UFC, but you see people who fight for a world title and they'll fight the second best after losing, or they'll fight the third best or the number one contender. Like having a warm-up fight after fighting very well against Canelo up until it got stopped proves that he doesn't need to have these warm-up fights. He could go down to middleweight and fight the best instantly.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. You know, I've always rated Billy Joe. You know, I mean, even before he came to Sheffield and joined the Ingle gym, I used to watch Billy, and I was a massive fan. Still am to today. I mean, and then when he came to Sheffield and joined the Ingles and Dominic were training him, I went down and seen him train a couple of times. The kid is such a talented kid, bags of talent. So yeah, definitely get back into that top level at middleweight, fight a Eubanks Jr., fight a Demetrius Andrade, a Triple G, because he more than deserves to be still at that level.
What about Canelo next? Let's say he beats Caleb Plant. He unifies the division at super middle. Who's the biggest test for him other than Caleb Plant? Because that fight looks like it's going to be happening. I'm sure you think as well he wins that. Do you think maybe Batav? Who sort of super light heavy upwards, do you think will give him the biggest threat?
Honestly, I don't think there's anybody that out there to test him at middleweight, super middleweight, or even light heavyweight. I've said it before. I really do believe Canelo could go up to cruiserweight and win a world title. I really do. I don't think Canelo will come in at cruiserweight limit at 14. No. What is it? 14.4, I think it is. He'll come in at 13.5 stone or something like that. Honestly, he could go up to cruiserweight and win a world title. I really do believe that. But at your middleweight, your super middleweight, your light heavyweight, there's no one to touch him. As easy as it be a Callum Smith. Who else was the other one after Callum Smith? It was
Yildirim.
What was it called? Yeah, Yildirim. He beat Yildirim so easy.
Yeah.
Comfortable with Billy Joe Saunders. Mm-hmm. He just makes the fights easier. And that's why he admits it himself. He's going to be around at this level for a good 5 or 6 years. And I really do. I get it. I get why he says it, because he will be.
No, without a doubt. Last thing I want to speak to you about is AJ Fury. It looks like it's August. It looks like it's Saudi. Who do you have winning? What do you think of everything that's been going on the last few weeks? I mean, the date's been flying around for the last 6 months, it seems like now, and location's been unsure. Now it seems like we're getting closer to a date and a location, but it's taking too long, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be one of the. I mean, listen, it can't be easy to make a fight of this magnitude. It cannot. There's got to be so many. Fury's got his people. Anthony Joshua's got his people. You know, having to deal and work with the companies. Sorry, it's just gone off again. Everybody working together and everybody making sure that everybody's happy with the contracts. They've chucked a couple of days, the 7th and the 14th of August now. Mm-hmm. I believe the only issue is that something to do with the Olympics, that it's that Robert McCracken, is obviously the head coach for the GB team. So that's obviously a massive sticking point. But I believe they'll work around it. I keep changing my opinion all the time on who's going to win this.
There's a bank holiday date at the end of August. That's where there's the festival weekend. I think it's the 26th to the 29th. That would be a good one. That's the same weekend McGregor, Mayweather happened, and another couple of fights as well, big fights happen on that bank holiday weekend. So it could be then, but it seems like
it could be
7th, 14th for the moment. But yeah, as you were saying.
So I mean, the rumors were that it was either end of July, beginning of August. I think the end of July dates have been scrapped now because it's still not contracts have signed. So I read something yesterday, I think, or it might have even been this morning. It could even be the 7th or the 14th of August. I still believe that they would absolutely love to get the two fights in this year. The longer this first one gets announced, the more unlikely the second fight's going to be this year. Listen, it's going to be a travesty that it's not in the UK. Two British fighters fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, but that's obviously down to not being able to have a crowd in the UK. So it looks like it's Saudi. I just can't wait. I just hope it doesn't drag on for much longer, because people are just going to lose interest. They're going to get less confident that the fight's going to happen. So it's got to be announced in this week. It's got to be announced this week, surely.
Yeah, there was an interview that went up with Frank Warren a couple of days ago on the channel, and it was with Frank Warren, and he pretty much nailed on that it would be the 7th or the 14th. So that's hopeful. I mean, as you've said, it becomes less likely that'll be a second fight this year, but hopefully the second fight will be in Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. The second fight has to be in the UK. Imagine 90,000 fans at Wembley, 50% for AJ, 50% for Anthony Joshua. It would be a spectacular event, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. The second fight needs to be in the UK, no matter what.
And I think, as you do, I think most people do want the first one to be in Wembley. But if you're offered like 25 million more, you're going to go to Saudi, no matter who it is. So it's unfortunate that it's come to this. But as long as we get an AJ versus Fury and a packed out Wembley, whether it's first or second, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Saudis have they're well known for chucking a lot of money at boxing events, and that's one of the reasons that Anthony Joshua had the rematch with Andy Ruiz in Saudi. Eddie Earns confirmed that the guys, they 100% trust the guys in Saudi, and what a spectacular event that were. So it's difficult to compete when you can't have a crowd in the UK to compete with probably the money that Saudi Arabia will be chucking at this event. But listen, at the end of the year, we need to see Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury at Wembley for their second fight. Whatever happens the first fight, we need the second fight in the UK at Wembley.
Are we going to be able to see them fight at Wembley on the game?
Hey,
whether they're in it or not, AJ and Fury, I think.
How good? Well, in the game, don't forget you can create your own character in the game. So you could create a Tyson Fury, a similar looking Tyson Fury, or a Anthony Joshua, and get the fight hopefully in one of the venues in the game as well. That'd be good.
Is Wembley involved?
No, well, I'm not sure that. I mean, they're talking to many venues around the world to get involved in the game. So it'd be brilliant if you could get Wembley involved in the game, even such as like a venue like York Hall, Bethnal Green, such a historic venue.
Yeah.
You go back and the biggest names of fought. I remember Nigel Benn fighting there. I remember Lennox Lewis fighting there. Obviously myself, I boxed there. So. But no, I mean, York Hall, Bethnal Green, wouldn't that be an amazing venue to get into the boxing game?
The spit and sword, as they call it. I want to ask you, actually, on a personal level, where did you prefer fighting? Was it like the likes of York Hall, or was it the bigger venues?
Do you know what? I love fighting at the York Hall, Bethnal Green. It was I boxed there as an amateur. I boxed there in the junior ABA finals, and I won the junior ABA finals there. And I boxed 3 times as a pro there. But I boxed Manchester Arena, Sheffield Arena. I boxed at the Millennium Stadium.
I guess
I boxed all over. And do you know what? To go back to these old spit and sawdust venues, there's nothing like it. It's a great atmosphere. And especially York Hall, even the cheaper seats up in the top in the rafters, great viewing. You're on top of the ring. It's amazing viewing.
Mm-hmm. And the crowd just has so much impact on the fight, and just the venues. Yeah, it's the best one.
Massive. It's great.
Look forward to seeing some great venues in the game. Look forward to seeing hopefully AJ Fury at Wembley. Thanks for joining me today.
Anytime. Been great talking about the best sporting game, boxing game being released.
There we go. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Cheers, Ryan.